Then there's the second guy in the draft room you want to look out for. After the jerk, you have to concern yourself with. If you look to your right and you see the jerk, on your left is the stat geek. The stat geek. Instead of being the worst guy in the room, the jerk, he's just a huge nerd. Huge nerd. Like, where are they, Jeffrey? Where are they, Jeffrey?
Where are they, Jeffrey? I think he's talking about us, Michael.
Where are they, Jeffrey? They're in the corner of the room with a stack of spreadsheets, charts, graphs, and quantitative analysis, Michael. The stat geek, as you know, has spent more time working for this season than the players themselves. The stat geek has put in more time than Bill Belichick has getting the Patriots ready for the 2010 season. From the very second the 2009 season ended, the stat geek has been crunching data, watching NFL Network replays, hanging in chat rooms. This guy had a cheat sheet for the 2010 draft at the 2009 draft. Laminated under his belt buckle. He's the guy who's not feeling Ryan Matthews because he's just not crazy about that yard per carry in the fourth quarter of road games last year at Fresno. Oh, and I'll tell you something else he's not into. He's really not, or he really is digging Phillip Rivers because his red zone passer rating against division opponents in outdoor stadiums in the last 2 minutes of the half is excellent. Look it up. Look it up and compare it to others. The stat geek hangs on every single syllable that comes out of Ron Jaworski's mouth. The stat geek has Ron Jaworski on instant message. Jaworski doesn't respond, but stat geek's all up in his mail. And in a way, he's got a tiny bit of the jerk in him too. He's stat geek, but he's got some of the jerk in him as well. Because if you make a pick, you'll often get a very skeptical look from the stat geek. And then you look back at him like, what? What? You want to say something, stat geek? No, okay. Okay, what, nerd? What? All right, man. If you really need to know. Yeah, I need to know. The hell are you looking at? Why are you looking at me like that? All right. I don't know, man. I mean, you do know that he was only targeted 3.8 times per half in the fourth quarter in weeks 14 through 16 of the last 3 seasons, whereas so-and-so was targeted during those same periods 4.3 times. If you want him, take him. I'm just saying. Just saying, I wouldn't take him. Yeah, well, shut up, stat geek. Hey, man, you just asked. You just asked. Hey, man, don't blame me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just the guy with all the good information. 3 other things that everybody hates about Stat Geek. Number 1, he never posts anything on the message board all season long. Because he's not funny, he's not interesting, or he just doesn't want you to know. He's hoarding info. Intel. You're not getting any of his intel. You're not getting any of his 411. This guy's not doing it. This is the guy who subscribes and who pays extra for the premium content. He sure as hell is not putting up on a message board for free what he had to pay for. And why? For who? For what? To help you? $99.99 annually, although he could write the thing himself probably better. But he wants to cover all bases. He's not posting, which is good because he's not funny and he's not interesting. Number 2, the guy takes 5 minutes with every single pick. Winds the clock down. Dude, you've done 5 months worth of research. You've run a mock draft every hour on the hour for the past month. Why are you taking all 5 minutes on that pick? You're still crunching numbers when you're on the clock? Make the freaking pick. Come on. It is the 16th round. Today, we got to go back to work tomorrow. Make the pick. You're looking at your backup tight end. This is not going to make or break anything, loser. Make the pick. And number 3, the reason you hate Stat Geek, his team is usually pretty damn good. How could it not be? He's a loser. He's a stat geek. He's put in 20 times more time on this than any of you. Of course his team is good, and that's why you don't like him. Stat Geek is the polar opposite in the draft room. Or he's got a polar opposite, which I'll get to in a minute. He's the polar opposite, in a way, of the jerk, but not really. I'll explain what I mean by that in just 1 minute. It's incredible. Yeah, all right, Rome, we get it. Keep moving. Oh, no, don't rush me through this. I'm talking about the biggest weekend. If this is the biggest weekend of your year, I'm going to take as much time as I need to lay this out. I'm helping you. I am helping you. Dear Jim, that's it. I've stuck with you through your terse softball guy and Star Wars guy's rants. Forgot about that guy, Star Wars guy. I've stuck with you through your terse softball guy and Star Wars guy rants, and I took them with a huge grain of salt. However, after your sucker punch on Fantasy Stat Guy, I've had it with you and your tomfoolery. You've lost a listener. Regards, Craig in Tampa. There are 2 people who are offended by this take. The jerk and Stat Geek. The rest of you know I'm telling the truth. I always tell the truth. Yo, Van Smack, there's always the guy that doesn't have his entry fee at the draft. Even though he brought his own case of beer sitting next to his chair. When the coordinator asks for his entry fee, the dude smiles and says, you can just take that out of my winnings at the end of the year. Chris in Des Moines. Hell yes, that is so true. I'm not going to lie, that's not in my take, but you're right. That's true.